everyone, this is Dori. I'm a teacher of English, and today we will focus on IELTS Academic Writing Task 2. Okay, the first thing you should do is read the first part in bold because this will be the main topic of your essay. Then it will be very good to underline keywords in these parts of your main topic. These keywords are the important points that you need to consider while you write your essay. So, let's see an example.
So, let's read our instructions and our topic. Writing task 2, you should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Write about the following topic. And this is our main topic, the first bold part I was talking about. Let's read it. TV advertisements aimed at young children are far too many nowadays and they should be forbidden. To what extent do you agree or disagree, etc., etc. So this is our topic. It is a statement that expresses a certain opinion and usually a bold opinion. So let's underline keywords we need to consider in the first part of the topic. So first of all, the main topic, this is our theme. It is about TV advertisements. It is obvious, so we underline that. So TV advertisements doing what? Aimed at young children. So TV advertisements about for young children. Okay, what do they do, these advertisements aimed at young children? They are far too many nowadays. So we can underline too many, you understand that? Nowadays, and so what needs to be done? What's the problem? Some people probably think that these advertisements should be forbidden. These are the main key points of the theme, of the subject, of the topic. Okay, so we underline these.
Then you will read the question in bold. This question tells you what you need to do with the topic. In this case, in our example, they ask you if you agree or disagree, so you have to say your own personal opinion. So let's have a look at it.
Now, the second bold part. This is the question. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So in this case, you should express your own personal opinion on the subject. This is what the essay asks you to do. But you shouldn't be afraid of that, because I will give you ways in following videos to state an opinion even if you don't have one. However, in this case, I believe that you may have a lot of things to say. Anyway, to what extent do you agree or disagree? This is the question.
In the end, be careful because you're going to see something like that.
So, at the end of the task, you will see something like that. Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. So here, what do we need? For every argument we make, for every opinion we express, we need to provide reasons and we need to provide examples in order to justify it and better explain it. This is crucial. If you don't include reasons and examples in your essay, you will lose marks. Of course, you have to do this effectively and in an organized way.
As you can see, in this task, we're not going to be given any information as we were in task 1. In task 2, we have to provide our own ideas and our own examples, and of course, we have to be able to justify them. First of all, we need to be very organized in order to avoid the common problem of stating random ideas and examples here and there without any connection with each other and without any cohesion. So now, do you remember the keywords we underlined in our main topic? Now it is the time to use them in order to create our first paragraph, which is our introduction. So, in your introduction, you need to paraphrase the topic statement, and that's it. Of course, you can also state your own personal opinion. Let's see the example.
Okay, so in paraphrasing, we use different words in order to describe the same thing. So let's see. TV advertisements aimed at young children are far too many nowadays, and they should be forbidden. So the underlined keywords here are going to be our paraphrasing guide. First of all, what do? First of all, we need an opening phrase, an opening expression in order to help us get started. Okay, we can start by saying in the developing world. Of course, you can say at present, you can say nowadays, you can choose any phrase you like, but let's use this one in our example. In the developing world, the amount of advertisements, so what advertisements? Far too many, yes. So the amount of advertisements shown on TV, we care about TV because it is stated here, is consistently increasing, full stop. So this is something that happens generally in our world, and we use this as an opening line to state that advertisements are far too many nowadays, in different words. Of course, advertisements cannot be paraphrased, so we leave it as is. So we move on in order to say something about young children. So we make the generalization over here a little bit more specific in order to move on with our topic. So the advertisements that targets young children, we become more specific. Target young children, aimed at young children, paraphrased. Of course, young children, okay, it cannot be really paraphrased, so we might leave it as it is, it doesn't matter. So the advertisements that target young children could not be an exception to this generally accepted situation, and as a result, now we need the result. We need to say what's the problem with that. So in our main topic, the problem is that some people think they should be forbidden. So this is what we're going to write as well. And as a result, the result of all this situation, and as a result, there are a lot of people who claim that these advertisements should be banned instead of be forbidden, should be banned from TV altogether. Full stop. That's it. Some words cannot be paraphrased, and they shouldn't, in order not to make it more complex. But this is what you need, actually. And here it is. Your introduction is ready. So, as you can see, we can say exactly the same thing with different words. The only thing we need to do is to elaborate a little bit on the topic so as to form a paragraph of 4 to 5 lines, okay? Again, this is just an example. This is my way of writing. I do not ask you to imitate my way of writing, not at all. I'm asking you to use this way of thinking as a guide in order to write in your own personal way. If you practice enough with underlining and paraphrasing, you'll write very quickly and you do not have to worry about paraphrasing introductions again.
Now that our introduction is ready to go, we need 2 more paragraphs that will comprise the main body of our essay and a conclusion. So, what are we going to write in these 2 paragraphs? Well, time to brainstorm a little bit. Just think of as many ideas as you can, either for or against the topic statement, and write them down in notes very quickly. At this point, don't think if these ideas are good or bad. Please do not judge yourself. Just write as many as you can think of. Your notes could look like this.
Okay, here we have 2 columns of notes that agree with the main topic, that advertisements should be forbidden, and we have these opinions that disagree with the topic about saying that they shouldn't be forbidden, actually. Okay, so these are just random notes. Of course, you're not going to draw a table or anything like that. Write these down as they come in your mind. Okay, so we have some opinions about agreeing. Children want more and more and more and become greedy. They have no limits. Parents cannot provide so many things. Competition at school. They educate children in order to be consuming citizens, which is always a bad thing. So these are all opinions that agree that advertisements should be forbidden. Now, on the other hand, advertisements are part of our world. Children should get used to it. So they will have to learn to choose out of many things, and they have to learn how to put limits to themselves. Bans are not always the answer to everything. Parents should teach their children to be disciplined. Just some opinions, okay, stating the opposite thing. That's it. Of course, you may have even more, which is great, but this is just an example, all right?
Okay, now we just need to use these ideas in order to fill in our two paragraphs. Stay tuned for the next video where we will do exactly that, and of course we will outline the plan you need to follow. Until then, ask me your questions and give me your comments here on Facebook and Google+. All links are down below in the description box. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck with your exam.